Good night. Everyone just tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma Jerry Spirit Divine. I'm going to give you the short news and the word on tonight. We're going to talk about New Orleans. Members demand property assessment review um, because they're going up on assessment on taxes. So everyone want to review the taxes. Because I know I had to go through this last year. It, like the past 2 years, they're going up on the taxes. So dramatic in New Orleans Parish, property tax assessment. Is outcrying for city hall members, agencies to perform investigation for legal accuracy because they feel like I feel the same way too because I had to go through this for the last 2 years. So a lot of houses is building nice houses on our block. So a lot of time our house don't have that kind of value or the price that they increasing on. So it's a whole lot is going on. We have to have a value on our house. Then they building houses on our corner with value on, and then they're just going up on our taxes. So we do need someone to come investigate and give a good accuracy count on the value of our house and see what other value on our corner is causing our taxes to go up. So the council had reached agreement, to lower the demolish rate in a response to the average of 23% increase on property value, and is calling for other taxes authorities to follow suit. Because this been going on for the last, as far as I know, for like the last 2 years. I've been having this problem, ripping and running, because I'm like, why is the taxes keep going up? And we don't have that kind of value on our condo. So the increased assessment, strain young family and potential leave from the city, the tax base. So you have a lot of families is struggling right now. Because the inflation is high. Everything is very expensive right now. Trying to keep the food on the table for pork chop is like $18 a pack. So everything is high, and when we are working people, we don't get the food stamps and everything to try to keep up with the prices on the food and stuff. We got to come out of our pocket. So and then the increasing on the property taxes, then the gas is high. So you got so much going on right now. So during the economic development, and the budget commitment meeting council, the member questioned the assessor Edward Williams about the high spikes of the property. The property taxes assessment at which Williams justified by paying to new contractors. So a nonprofit not for taxes exempt, are required, by law also came under scholarship. So Williams supported, he supported the Louisiana Constitution Amendment, that would have increase at 10%. So he's trying to support us as possible. So the proposal was unsuccessful. So he tried, but it was very unsuccessful. He says so. He encouraged residents to challenge, their property assessment, which lasts a year. Saw about 8,000 owners, coming forward. So I understand the value of other houses, on our condo, but increase on our property assessment, inflation is high, economic, everything is high right now, putting a strain on family, everything is so high where families are trying to keep up with food and accessories and gas and everything else. Everything is high. And you have your gas like up and down. You know, so I request no increase on property assessment. Everything is so expensive right now, and you have a lot of young family is struggling. And some of them might be paying mortgage. And then they got to pay for the high taxes at the end of the year. You know, so it may be putting a strain on families. Because it's like for the last 2 years, what I noticed, they're going up on the taxes. So and then they're going up on that taxes because value is being produced on our condo. But then our house sometimes don't have the value. So we do need someone to come out and investigate these houses, investigate the values that's coming on our corner in our house. It's like every other year they should investigate on the value of our houses before they decide to do an increase on our property taxes. You have to investigate and take a look at the value before y'all go up on the prices. So that's on our property taxes in New Orleans, Louisiana. So now we're gonna talk about the future glory of Zion. God will reset this woman life, stronger than ever. So it gonna be the Israelite. It gonna be the Israelite having their nation reset. But it's gonna be the glory of God. Okay, so it's gonna be the reset of the Israelite, but it's gonna be the glory of God. So this sermon comes from Isaiah 54, chapter 1 through 17. So same this barren woman, who never burned no children. She never had no children. Shout for joy that you who were never in labor. Because more of the children are dissolute woman than her who has a husband. And then she have a husband. But he thinking about divorcing her because all these years she never had no child. And so this is a woman who have a husband, but she had no children, and she is a woman with great shame. Because back then in the Bible, if you didn't have no children, that was shameful. A woman just feel shame, if she ain't had no children, and she felt the disgrace, guarantee a future, a future. A woman depend on children. A woman depend on children for when she get a little older. When she get a little older, she depend on her children to help take care of her. Cause back then, you gotta work in the field and everything else to eat. So when you got children, they take over the field when you get a certain age. But God is letting her know. God is letting her know that she do have a future. That God will permit her to have many children. Now she don't have no children, but God's giving her a future that she will have some children, and she ain't gonna have one. She gonna have many children. That will change her mourning into singing. So many years she been distressed. Because the husband ain't paying her no attention. Because she ain't got no children. So now God said, so now God is preparing. God helping her to prepare herself for the blessing. Prepare herself for the blessing. Now God said, enlarge your place, of your tent. Stretch your tent curtain wide. He said, do not hold back. So when God asks for you to ask for him what you want, he like for you to go big. He like for you to go big. She said, lighten your cause, strengthen your sake. So this woman here has to prepare to be blessed. So God message to Israel. Like I said, we talking about the woman, talking in parables, talking about the woman, but really God is talking to the Israelite. So God mentioned to the Israelite, prepare themselves to receive the blessing that is about to pour out on them. Now God said, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for the blessing that He about to pour out on you. So he said that He is about to pour out the blessing on you. He said, enlarge your house. Enlarge your house. You are going to need bigger place. Now God said, enlarge your house. Because He said you're going to need bigger place. You're going to need a bigger place. That you are going to need a bigger place. He said, don't estimate, the amount of rooms, that you need. So build, build, build. Now God said, prepare for this blessing here. He said, enlarge your tent. He said, don't worry about he said, don't estimate the rooms, the rooms that you're gonna have. So he said, for you will spread out. Now God said you're gonna spread out to the right, and to the left. You're deceiving disposable nation and settle in their dissolution city. So the city is dissolution right now. So God giving them a future. He telling them prepare for what about to come. So your deceiving will occupy other nations. That's just how big it's gonna be. Remember, he said enlarge your tent. And resettle the real city. You're going to need lots of elbow room. Now, God said you're going to need a lot of elbow room. You're going to enlarge your tent. You need elbow room. He said you growing family. Now, she don't have no children, but God giving her a future that you're going to have children. He's a growing family, and you're going to take over the whole nation. Now, God said you're going to take over the whole nation. You're going to take over the whole nation. So He's saying, prepare yourself. Get ready. You're going to resettle abandoned city. See, it's abandoned right now, but it's not going to be abandoned too long. He said y'all gonna take the whole nation. The whole nation. So prepare yourself. Because this you enlarging your tent. He said, do not be afraid. You will not be put to shame. Because remember, we back and forth with the woman and the Israelite. You remember, she ain't having no children. So she was like ashamed and disgraced and and everything else because she ain't have no children. He said, do not fear. He said, don't fear disgrace. You will not be humiliated, and you will forget your shame, of your youth. He said, remember no more the reproach of your widow. He said, God said, don't be afraid. He said, don't be afraid. He said, you're not going to be embarrassed. He telling this woman, you're not going to be embarrassed. He said, you're not going to come up short. Now, he said, you're not going to be embarrassed. He said, and you're not going to come up short. So he's saying, God's saying, I'm going to pour all kind of blessing down on you. He said, prepare for it. He's saying, get ready for it. Enlarge your church. He said you're going to have so many rooms to the left, to the right. So this is something God's saying, prepare for your blessing. He said you're not going to come up short. He said you'll forget all about the humiliation and the shame. He said, for your maker is your husband. Now he said, your maker is your husband. He said the Lord, the Almighty, is His name. The Holy One of Israel is your Redeemer. He is called the God of all the earth. So just think about a husband that you can imagine, a husband who loves his wife. And you don't have that too much going on these days. But imagine God is your husband that love his wife the way a man's supposed to love his wife. A husband who cares, for his wife. A husband, that she will have the best husband, you know, on earth. So the Lord will call you back as if you were a wife deserted and distressed in spirit. A wife who married a young only to be rejected, say your God. Just like she married. She married this her husband. You know, he must be a younger person, younger than her. But he rejected her. He don't give her no attention. Because she could not give him no children. So he's thinking about divorcing her. So that's why God said, "Don't worry about it. I will be your husband." So he divorcing her, because they say it was legal back then for a man to divorce his wife if she can't give him no children. So that was their law. So a barren woman who don't have no children. So in the culture of Israel day, an unmarried woman, a barren wife, sat at the bottom of the social hill. To be a husbandless, a childless, cause not she about to not have a husband, and she don't have no children. She gonna really be disgraced. A woman in her family and her husband could divorce his wife, so it was legal then. So if she was infertile, even a widow who once bore the children, they could become an outcast. So that's what she feel like. She feel shamed, humiliated, an outcast, in her community because they have husband and they have children. She had a husband, but she had no children. Then her husband divorcing her and leaving her. So she really gonna be an outcast in her community. So when people suggested that her widow's state was a result of sin, for a woman's success and accepted equal a husband and a lot of children. You know, that's how you think it's supposed to be. You think you're supposed to be married. It's the way it's supposed to be married and love and have children. But in her case, it didn't work out that way. So Isaiah, compared God people to a barren woman. So this is a story and parable. So God compared his people into a barren woman. But he promised that they will not, always be ashamed. So he promised the Israelites they will not always be ashamed. He compared them to this woman, but he said they will not be ashamed. For Jerusalem will be dissolute, but later it will be polluted and filled with rich and powerful resources. Now he's saying Jerusalem is dissolute right now, all tore up and everything right now. But he's saying it's gonna be rich and it's gonna be powerful resource after he get through with it. So for a brief moment, I abandon you, but with deep compassion, I bring you back. The Israelites just kept on messing up. So God's saying, yeah, I was mad with y'all for a while. I abandoned y'all for a while. With deep compassion. But I will bring you back. So God has said through her fear, in her hard time, he was angry only for a brief moment. But we may feel alone. You may feel alone and suffering, from deep despair. But he sees us and hold us in his hand, and give us strength. Who said that for a brief moment he'll forsake us. Now he'll do it just for a moment, and he'll get over it. So in the social anger, I hid my face, from you for a moment. And that's how you have to do sometimes. That's what I'm learning. Learning to do. When you angry, it's best to don't even be around nobody. Just stay in your moments to get yourself together, because I used to be the same way. That's why I say I done grown so much in this stone. You know, I'd rather, no matter what I go through, or when I leave home, or whatever the situation is, when I get to work or get anywhere, nobody don't know nothing. They don't know anything, because you got to stay humble. You know, you got to stay humble. Now, he said he went to the corner somewhere, and you know, he was angry for a moment. You know, and that's how you got to do. You got to stay away from people when you angry. You know, because you'll go from 0 to 100. You know, so for a moment, but with underlasting kindness, you know, I will have compassion on you. You know, said the Lord, your Redeemer. Now, see, you have a compassionate God. He said, angry for a moment, you know, and still have kindness. You know, and that's what you have to do. Because if you be around somebody when you angry, you know, and someone might say the wrong thing, you know, you're going to go from a 0 to 100. You know, so you have to still be kind, you know, in your anger when you're trying to get over your moment. You know, so God said that he had abandoned Israel for a brief moment. You know, so the nation was like a young wife. That's why he compared them to this young woman here. You know, he said the nation was like this young wife, which she was rejected, you know, by her husband, but God still called Israel his own. You know, that means God still loved the Israelites. Even though he was mad with them for a moment, he said he still showed kindness and compassion on them. You know, so to me, this is like a day of Noah. You know, remember when God had give uh water, that the when he told Noah he's not gonna destroy the world with water, the earth with water no more. He made a covenant with that. He said, sure that the water of Noah, you know, will never again cover the earth. He said he would never do that again. You know, so now I have sworn not to be angry with you. You know, never to rebuke you again. You know, so he was angry for a moment and he rebuked her. You know, so he said he's not going to do that no more. You know, so he said he's not going to do that to the Israelites no more. So not just like he said to Noah, you know, he will never cover the earth with water again. You know, so now he's saying to the Israelites, I will not be angry with you and never rebuke you again. And see, God sticks to His word. You know, because we had Katrina, you know, but it wasn't supposed to be like God gonna have just destroy the whole earth with the water. That would deal with the pipe, you know. So though the mountain, you know, be shaken, the hills be removed, but yet my unfalling love for you will not be shaken, nor my covenant. Now he said, no matter what, the covenant that he made, he will not do it again. You know, because when he make a covenant, that's it. You know, so he said it will not be shaken. You know, he said, peace be removed, said the Lord, who had compassion on you. You know, so this is encouragement. You know, God's kindness will not depart from us. You know, we know that God is slow to anger. You know, because we know that with the Israelites. You know, he said, God peace, the covenant of his peace will not be removed from us. You know, affliction sitting, you know, lashed by the storm and not by comfort. Now he said, I will rebuild you with stones, you know, your foundation, you know, with all kind of goals and trembling, you know. So reset Israel life, their nation about to be reset back again. You know, so your suffering, your comfort, your stone, revenge, city, you know, I will rebuild your city with precious stones. You know, now God said, I'm about to rebuild your city, you know, with precious stones. Now this gonna be something very, very beautiful. You know, so he said, I will reset your foundation, you know, God, that's God's word. He said, I will reset your foundation. He said Jerusalem will be restored even better than it did before. That he will reset the nation because he cared for them. Now, the Israelite, his chosen, he loved the Israelite. They make him mad sometimes. You know, he abandoned them for a moment, like he said. He angry with them for a moment, but he still showed kindness and compassion. As we have a compassionate God, that he don't stay angry for long, because he cared for the Israelite. So I will make your battlement of rubies, your gate of spoken jewel, and all your walls will be precious stone. All your children will be taught by the Lord, and great will be their peace. Remember the woman that had no children. Now he said all your children. She's gonna have some children. So this is her future. They said God said the walls gonna be precious with stones. So this gonna be very beautiful. So God made a covenant with Noah that he would never break. God made a covenant with peace with the people of Israel. Promising that the time will come when he will stop pouring their wealth and he will personally teach their children. Now, he said he's gonna give the woman children. We going back and forth. He telling the parable with the lady, but he really talking about the Israelite. He said he gonna teach their children. He gonna teach their children. They constantly gonna be having children back to back. And God said, I'm gonna teach your children. So now we see the future of the Israelite and the glory of God. God about to show glory on this nation right here. From the left to the right, this is gonna be a big old nation. When we say enlarge your territory, get ready. Prepare yourself for the blessing that's coming. So the righteousness, will be established. Trenton will be far from you. You will have nothing to fear. Now he telling this woman, he telling the Israelite, you will have nothing to fear. When he fix that nation up, when he fix that land up, it gonna be so beautiful. He said, don't fear. Don't worry about people coming on there. He said, don't fear. He said, terror will be far removed. Will not come near you. So now God has promised that we will be far from oppression. So that we will not be afraid. So now this is a promise from God, knowing that he will protect us, but we still have fear. Now, sometimes I'm talking to myself too. And sometimes we pray to God. We know God is right there. We know God is protecting us. We know God will put that shield around us. But for some reason, some of us still have fear. Some of us still have anxiety. Still have fear and anxiety, stress on our life. And when God said that, we read Psalms 91. I try to read that before I go to bed, before I leave the house in the morning, or when I get to work. We have to pray for that fear and anxiety. I'm talking to myself too. We have to pray for that fear and anxiety to be removed. Because a lot of times the protection that we get from God is a spiritual protection. That'd be the best protection that we can have. But a lot of times we still have fear and anxiety, stress, and all this kind of stuff, because all kind of stuff happening in the mix of the storm that you in. So if anyone does